All right, good, man. I'm back here with the Everything Big Willie show. One of my favorite guys of all time, in my opinion. I hadn't filmed anything since October, bro. And I started doing this because I wanted to bring light and some fanfare to the guys that I love to see play. Some former guys, current guys. You're the first current guy that I have. But introducing my boy Lane Johnson, two-time Super Bowl winner, All-Pro, the guy who's leading the way right now in the offensive line world, and a good friend of mine. And I appreciate, man, you doing this for me.
Man, hey, you helped me out when I was a young pup. You came to Oklahoma City around 8 years ago and taught me information I didn't know. I didn't know much about O-line play in the position. And then, as I learned more about who played in the league and who was who, I mean, you're the guy that really started taking the eyes off the left tackle and more towards the right tackle because, you always had that label that the right tackle was the power guy and that the left tackle was the more of an athlete. And you were the first guy that ever changed that conversation into, hey, it's very difficult on both. But you were the first guy that was exceptional in many years, because those guys were like in the 60s, 70s, and you came around 90s, and you were the trendsetter. And so there's no bigger fan than me, man, and just your dominance through your career. And I think people realize just how big a heart you have for guys coming up, college, high school guys, and I think they seek your guidance because you know that you're truly there to help them, and that you just have a boatload of wisdom, man. So I want to say thank you just for your mentorship to me over the years, and yeah, man, you got a good thing going.
Man, thank you. It's funny you said that because I started doing my academy. I started with high school kids, right? I was so afraid to even try to approach pro guys. I would say, man, I don't want pro guys to think I'm trying to change them and trying to make them do it my way or the old way. Or so. With you being one of the first, you were one of the first pro guys to accept me. Yeah. And to me, that's always going to be huge in my book because I was so afraid of trying to get to pro guys. You know what? I'm going to start with high school guys. I'm going to start with get Paris Johnson in high school. But when you called me, man, and brought me out here, to me, that was a big deal for my company. So I appreciate you doing that because a lot of guys have been hesitant to say, hey, man, I've heard guys say, well, I don't want Willie trying to change my style up or teaching me something that's trying to be him. And I don't do that. My thing with pros is you're a pro for a reason. You're a Lane Johnson for a reason. All I would try to do is try to add some tools to it or also learn the things that are going on right now in today's game, man, to me, man. So you being humble enough to do that, man, I think should be loads of credit for me, from me to you for that because that was a big deal for me because I just started our training in 2 years and for you to call me and say, hey, man, come out here, work with me, that was a thrill of my life. So I'd say thank you for that, man.
Man, and that's what I noticed from the very beginning was you came in, it wasn't really, I'm trying to tell you how it should be played. It was just a great conversation. And what you realize, man, is that there's many different ways and different styles to attack this game, and everybody has their own method. But you can take bits and pieces of people's games, how they see things on the field, how they can adapt to them on the field. But, it was a great 2 days, and it, opened my eyes just to, I had to learn from all the greats before because, me coming into college, I was never an O-line guy. I got moved my junior year. I knew that was the only way I was going to get to play. And then, so coming in, I didn't know much about O-linemen in general. But as I learned, man, there's a few guys that have paved the way, and you're one of them. So,
bro, you are the prototype of what I tell high school kids right now, like, about changing positions. Like, you told me in 2018 you were a freaking quarterback in high school. So how did that help your development from going from quarterback, I think, to tight end, right?
Yeah. That was my hardest transition because going from, when I got to junior college, I had that fall at quarterback, and so that's spring semester I started playing tight end.
Wait. So what was your weight playing quarterback?
High school, I was probably 215 my senior year. And then when I got to junior college at Kilgore, I was like 235 So it was, I knew I wanted to go tight end. I knew that quarterback, I was throwing too many picks. I wasn't reading the field good. So, hey, I knew where my avenue was. But, I think what helped me, my transition to playing tackle was I grew up playing basketball primarily. And I feel like the footwork for me, like, posting up the defender at the top of the key,
Yep.
and them trying to run baseline is the same type of angle
Yep.
as what it is playing tackle on the right side or left side.
Yep.
So I think the transition helped me there. But, yeah, it was something that it all happened so fast. You know, Coach Stoops came to me. He's like, hey, I think you got a shot to really be good at this. And then, you know, I played in the spring game, and then I wasn't starting originally my junior year. Darrell Williams, who ended up being an all-pro in the league with the Bills, and I ended up going in against Tulsa, and then that was kind of a wrap. Played right tackle my junior year, and then left my senior year, and then got to league, and
Hold on. Became a first-round pick though.
Yeah.
So that journey from high school quarterback to JUCO playing tight end to transition to tackle to a first-round pick, that's an unbelievable story. So I deal with a lot of kids out here that are reluctant to change positions, you know, because I was the same way too. In 1989, I was a freshman in high school, and my high school had just won ESPN's first national championship. And I wanted to go to high school and said, you know what? I would never be an offensive lineman ever again in my life.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Bruce Smith,
There's no glory in it,
Reggie White. And at 14 years old, I was only worrying about girls calling my name out in the stands.
Yes.
You know, as a lineman, your name don't get called in the stands. So
unless you're getting a flag.
at 14, I was like, yo, my mom would hear my name called, and all the girls in school would know who I am if I play defense. And the first day of practice, my offensive line coach, my head coach, is an older white guy that chewed his cigars. It's like Elmer Fudd almost.
Yeah.
And he looked at me. They said, D-lineman line up. So I ran my ass in the D-line line and stood there. And he walked past chewing us a cigar. And he was like, yeah, right. I said, man, look, man, if I play O-line, I'm changing schools.
Yeah.
I'm not playing O-line. And they tricked me. I played 3 games of D-line as a backup. They called me in the office and said, hey, I came in the office one day and said, hey, son, come in the office. I said, oh, damn, am I in trouble? So I walk in the room. I see our O-line coach smiling.
Oh, he just
D-line coach got a frown on his face. Everybody got a frown on his face. And he said, son, how about Friday night? You can be a starting left tackle. I literally turned around and said, hold on, the starting left defensive tackle? He said, no, offense. I'm going to start crying, bro. I was so mad. I was like, hell no.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
I was like, no, I do not want to play O-line, man. But it turned out to be the best thing for me. I was #1 lineman in the country, first lineman in Alabama to win 6'8" player of the year. So I've been a career lineman.
What year was that? Whenever you
My senior year was 93, so I won.
So you played D-line up to your senior year?
No, I played D-line 3 games my freshman year.
Okay, that's when
And then I played it again for 4 games in the playoffs my senior because we were loaded, so they didn't need me. So I've been a career lineman, so I get mad at kids who say, I don't want to play O-line, I'm a D lineman. But so that's why I love to tell your story about your transition, and so many guys in the NFL in today's game are they change positions. You know what I mean? They're basketball players. My motto is I think every NFL player, every NFL tackle probably was a decent basketball player in high school.
The footwork has to match the foot speed.
It has to match, man. I think one of the main things today, a lot of kids now, they don't play multiple sports.
No.
They specialize in football, and so a lot of the high school linemen, not all of them, the elite kids are still elite, but on the most part, a lot of guys are stiff, they're agile, and they have to be taught the things that you guys, myself, we learned that from playing multiple sports.
Yeah, well, when I was in high school, you had to run track. It was like a requirement. At least, if you didn't compete, you at least had to go do the practice.
Do the practice.
But, yeah, just becoming multi-skilled, and like you look at Trent Williams, that guy can go on the basketball court, can do it all, but yeah, a lot of guys that have that sort of footwork and frame are really good at that.
Yeah, man. So journey you went to JUCO, you went to Oklahoma, first round pick. Your rookie year in Philadelphia was 2013?
13.
Talk about that experience.
It was a struggle, man. I came in and just everything was moving fast, and I felt like I was really heavy emphasis on trying to punch people really hard. So I gave up, I think, 2 or 3 sacks to Justin Houston, like my 3rd game, on a couple of jump sets, went out there over aggressive, got swiped. Vick got hit twice. And so
that's really, right. You was with Michael Vick. That's right.
That's what I'm saying. So I step in the huddle. I got Michael Vick here. I got LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, Macklin.
Right. Hey, y'all were loaded.
I'm in the Michael Vick experience. I got Jason Peters at left tackle.
That's right, man. Y'all were loaded.
So yeah, it was but I struggled really like my first 8 games, and then like towards the 9th game on, you started seeing a trend. But I thought my run game was really strong, but pass blocking, my technique was flawed, and I was really overthinking. And so really it took me till about my second year. I think my game where I felt like my confidence really improved was like the Giants of my second year. It was like, okay, I'm starting to adapt. But it was a rough learning curve for me from that transition, just because I was trying to be over aggressive with my hands, and so I needed to scale back on my technique.
I mean, think about it. Your rookie year, you had only been a lineman for how many years?
Yeah, 2.
That's crazy, man.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's crazy, man. So
I had to learn. Dwight Freeney put a spin move on me my rookie year. Justin Houston got me good. But the only way for me to learn is to go through those experiences. You feel it, and hey, once you get burned, by the fire, by the hot stove, sometimes that is the best experience.
No doubt. You told me years ago that Jason Peters was big in your development early on too.
Yes, he was, and growing up, he told me he was going to play D-line, I guess, at Arkansas. So very similar. He played D-line coming up, switched to O-line, but he originally went to Arkansas as a tight end. But that's when they had Matt Jones was the quarterback.
He came in the league as a tight end.
Yes. So he went to Buffalo, and they had him doing special teams. He was the wedge buster.
I remember that.
320, 330.
I remember that big dude. Yep.
And then I don't know what took him so long, but he grew up in Queen City there in Texas. And so he grew up playing basketball, was heavy into that. And he's just, one of those big dudes like you. Like, you don't see many guys that have that mass, that size, and be able to move that quickly. So, man, I remember the first practice. So Chip Kelly's my coach, rookie year. I remember getting on the scales, and I'm barely weighing like 306. And JP gets on there. I'm not gonna say his weight, but it was above 350 and,
no doubt.
And cold tub shorts. And I'm going, hey, this dude's a different breed of human. Breed of human. But man, just like you, he was very approachable. He was always there trying to help me, and he wasn't trying to make me play his game. But me getting off the ball, getting off the snap count, his jump sets. I learned a lot from him, and. Yeah, he was probably the best mentor I ever had, one of them. And, an East Texas guy himself, so, we had a lot in common. But it was just a lot of fun, watching him dominate and overcome and just become, one of the best to ever play. Yeah. So it was a treat, man. I got very lucky to have that man in my corner.
That's funny now, man. So now you played as long now, 13 years now, to where now a lot of young kids and young tackles now are mimicking your style now. They're mimicking your footwork. They're mimicking your handwork. And it's just funny to see the evolution of the position, of you coming in, like you say, struggling, because everybody think the finished product was always there, and they don't realize that guys. My rookie year, we all struggled. We struggled. I had a bus label on me. My first 4 games, my first 4 games of my career. So you hopefully start to learn the light click on towards the end of your second year, and hopefully your third year. You got
a 3-year window they give guys.
You got it third, especially first round picks. We get a little longer, but they hope by the third year it clicks on, and you realize, what? I now just know how to block. You know what I mean? And I tell guys all the time, sometimes too, the good players just know how to block. It's something in your soul and your brain that I just know how to block that guy. Like, I can explain it, but sometimes I can't explain it because my body can just mimic it. We talked about it earlier. I learned to mimic this guy's movement, and I can just feel what he's getting ready to do. So
it's more reading their body language, shoulders, hips, neck. There's so many key points that can kind of telegraph where he's going to go. But few people that have played the position, they can recognize it or explain it. Yeah.
And that's why I always say I think pass blocking is a spiritual thing, because it's between you, yourself, and your God of trying to figure out, because if this guy hits his quarterback, somebody's going to die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So figuring this out, and the entire city, this whole franchise is dependent on that guy behind us.
Yes.
And we have to figure out that if we let one hit can change
the whole season.
The whole season. So the level of perfection that has to be for offensive linemen it increases, because they want one play a game.
That's all they need.
They want one play a game, man.
And I think that's why the bond is so tight with the guys in the O-line room, is because we're all doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. Different is required at Garden Center, but we're all live and die every day by the sword, pretty much.
Yeah, man. So you came in 2013. You've now played in three Super Bowls. I always wondered. I had the pleasure of playing in the Super Bowl. What does it feel like the day after the Super Bowl?
Well, I'll tell you what. The pain of losing that one that we did was more emotional, more traumatic than winning any of them. you know, it was awesome. Like to answer your question, it was an awesome feeling. But you know, I gotta say that I'll still never forget the loss. You know, just in that fashion, it's that powerful of a moment. But man, it's such a long season. You know, by the time you get to that point in the playoffs, you know, you kind of numb. Whereas you know, a lot of hype and commotion is made early in the season, and usually once you get past 4 or 5 games, you start getting the flow of the season. But it's such a long season. Everybody's banged up. You know, we had guys that needed surgery immediately after the game was over. So, hey, it was. That's what I love about football. Everybody is put in a bind. Some, you know, in a mental state or physical. You know, bodies need surgeries in the off season, and just
no doubt.
Everybody overcoming something for each other. Man, that's what makes it so special.
I remember a game 2006, I think, with the Bengals. We were playing in Denver against the Broncos, and it was about 9 of us in the training room all getting shot up. I was getting shot at my foot, needle this damn big. My boy Dwayne Clemens, it was going to his shoulder, and we all was sitting there just laughing like, yo, what the freak are we doing? Like, we doing this to play this game. We all was laughing like, because guys were like biting towels down.
Doing what you had to do.
Doing what you had to do, man. And that's the bond that guys have, because like, I hate saying it's like war because our soldiers go through a lot of things, but it's kind of similar in the brotherhood of the goals that we had to go out there and go fight for 4 hours, and guys are, you know, taking Toradol and shots and all this crazy just to go out here and put your body on the line for your team. So definitely that part of football is definitely missed. I had some guys who are diehard Eagle fans. My boy Darnay is a diehard Lane Johnson fan. He said, man, ask him. His entire time in the league, he's a diehard Philly fan too. Who was his toughest guy he faced and why? Because we see the NFL, the pass rush summit going on. So you and Duke started the O-line mastermind because of that going on. I just saw a video of it last night, the guys out in Vegas.
Yeah, Vaughn's the one that started all this. Miller, he's the one that started like all the camps.
That's right. And then you and Duke had the idea of coming up with the O-line mastermind. So back to my friend's question, who is your toughest guys you faced?
Man, I got to say, a guy that I struggle with, his name was Olivier Vernon.
I remember that guy.
So, you know, we talked about this earlier. He was a guy that had like the arm length of a 6'6" person, but he's only walking around, you know, at 6'1", 6'2". So it was just something, dude. He only had like one move on me. He could just bull me. You know, a lot of guys can't move me when it comes to bull rush, but he just had something. You know, and Trent, you know, there's Tyron, JP. We've all have, once this guy hit us in the chest, you're going, hey. felt like the SWAT team was coming through my chest with a big ass railroad tie.
No doubt.
So yeah, man, he was tough. You know, but any of these guys, you know, any time you got to go against a Micah Parsons or Myles Garrett, TJ, all those guys, they get your attention.
But usually guys, and I say the same thing. And people say, well, who's the toughest guys? I say, well, they all tough.
They all tough, and
you're still playing, so they're all tough, but. Those guys who are shaped like that, like for us, my era guys was, I told you earlier, was like Rob Mathis and Freeney. These guys were 6'1", and we have never seen guys that small
playing below our belly button.
And that's what they said. He said, you know, they made myself, John Dan Ogden. They said these big guys don't want to bend that low because we were an era of big guys.
Yeah.
We were run blockers and pass blockers, but we were made to be big guys.
Everybody was big.
Yeah, so. We saw these guys 6 feet tall, 240. Like, what's this guy?
Exactly.
And the first time I reached out to try to stab Robert Mathis, he ducked under my arm. He ghosted me.
Limbo.
Back then, it was not called a ghost. Back then, there was no like it was called literally he's ducking under your arm.
Yeah.
Rob and I laugh right now. I talk to him on Twitter all the time. We laugh right now on the move he beat me with. He beat me. He set me up with it prior to he did it because he did it before. He faked inside of me, but. He didn't go
fake like he was doing a stunt to go hit the guard.
He didn't go far enough though, so I didn't believe it. The next time, they were winning the game. We were down by 2 touchdowns. We passed blocking the last 2 quarters. We passed blocking.
Yeah.
So he goes out of the game. His backup come in. I said, I just shut him down. It's 2 minutes of the game. I just shut Rob Mathis down. I'm good. He comes back into the game. So now the same move again. He goes a little bit further. I said, he's going inside. And I ducked my head to head button. Boom! He rolls outside spin off of my back.
Ice picked it.
And all I saw him just diving in Carson Palmer's face. And I'm in the huddle. And back then, the Bengals the video guys replayed everything bad at our stadium.
Yeah.
And so we're in the huddle,
You just watch.
and they watching that shit, and they replaying it. And Freeney said, "Big Willie." I looked at Freeney, he was like, "Ooh, that shit's nasty."
Hey, that's funny because, when I get got, I'll look up on the screen sometimes and go, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to watch this tomorrow with Coach."
Oh man,
it is. It's a bad feeling, but no. To your point, man, it happens so quick, and I think what made those guys so good is like some dudes will like telegraph either with the arm, like an inside spin. Those guys really sell it and don't give anything away, and it's
especially because they're smaller too.
Yes.
Like with Julius Peppers or Reggie White. These guys, they did an inside move. They were so tall and big. They give it away.
You have a lot of surface area to hit.
Yeah, like these small guys, man. That's the reason
You might have a little shoulder
to hit, bro. That's why I say all the time. Myself and John DeOgden and Lando Pace, we all had to retire because these guys were coming in, and it started a new era of Russia coming in with you guys. So, and it's funny to see you train today. Your training is indicative of how you play.
Yeah.
It's high intensity. You're working, and so just to see the body evolution of linemen, but you guys had to change because the rushes changed.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, and there's there's different seasons where I played with some smaller guys, but I mean this past season everybody was big, and there's some teams like you look at the Ravens, the Steelers, they predominantly they're going to get big guys there. That's their style of football, especially when it gets late in the year and you're trying to ground and pound on people. So.
You guys play a style of football that reminded me of our era of football, and I think it's one of the reasons why you guys are so dominant. You guys, the Ravens, Buffalo Bills, the 49ers.
Yep.
There's very few teams playing that style of football,
yep.
and I don't think teams can prepare for the physicality that you guys have. Like you guys are all around. You guys are great pass blockers, but when it comes to run blockers, I did a video on you guys 2 years ago. You guys are whooping ass, man. Like it's a pride thing. You guys are talking about that because y'all do it. Even before Saquon, y'all was doing it before Saquon, but you put Saquon behind y'all, and you guys work magic.
And you know how it is, man. Every now and then you get blessed with coaches. I guess yours was Paul Alexander, mine's Coach Stoutland. But you have some guys that are great teachers, great motivators, and they know how to coach everybody a little bit differently. Some people it takes a little push to give them a long way.
Yes.
Some people you got to stay on them. But he has that, and then that's when you go to our practices, we're doing the combo blocks every day, and we've been doing it, ever since I've been there. But it's really just sequencing up your footwork and making sure all that mass, you get these big boys syncing up the footwork, and and having these calls for the different alignments. So just so you're in sequence. But man, they did a good job of just, I got very fortunate. I got to play with Brandon Brooks, Mackay, Isaac. So just some guys that were just, freaking nature size, and so it makes it a lot easier when you have a good guard inside.
It makes life hell of a easy.
Because that's your dance mate.
That's your dance mate.
Whenever you get beat on games and stuff, that's because y'all two aren't sequenced up with the same levels.
I played with some good guards in Cincinnati in my later years. Mike Goff, my boy Bobby Williams, and Bobby came from Philly. Bobby was a big ass dude. Like Bobby was like 360, 370 probably, big ass head.
The guards are just the massive.
Listen, man. And I was tell Bobby, look, Bobby, when these defensive ends, Julius Peppers, whoever it is, when they come on an ET's game, we gotta freaking punish this motherfucker because I want him to be scared to go inside of me. Yeah. And even if we call a slide to my side too, you call a slide to me, I don't care if God calls you that way. You come to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna set his ass up. If he go inside,
you're gonna come.
You got to kill his ass, Bobby.
Yes.
And Bobby, big ass, gigantic head, he would lay these guys out.
Yeah.
So I would never get inside moves.
Hey, and that's what people don't. One good smack from somebody inside can make your life a whole lot easier.
Put it on film to make the guys watching the film scared of that shit. Like our double team blocks was the same way when Bobby and I said, Bobby, our goal is to put this guy on the back of his head. So when the next guy sees our double team block, he's gonna fall to the ground.
Yep.
Now I can go to the sideline and tell Paul, he's falling down the double team, run 45 counter, so I can just cut the guy off, big ass hole here. So being a physical football player, and what you guys play great physical football, I say it all the time. The physicality of a game puts fear in D linemen and puts thought and guesswork in their heads. I learned that from Eric Williams. Like my favorite player ever is Eric Williams, man. Yeah. Like I wanted to be Eric Williams in high school. In college, every time I get a chance to talk to him now, I tell him all the time, I make him blush how I Google
He's underrated, underappreciated. He should be in the Hall of Fame, too.
He should be in the Hall of Fame, bro. Like, Eric was the most violent guy. Eric.
That's what I heard.
Rest in peace, Reggie White. Reggie White's a great man. I tell you, I wanted to be Reggie White growing up. Mm-hmm. But I watched Eric Williams make Reggie White think like, oh.
Hey, and there's not many people that can make that.
That never happened.
No,
never. Eric Williams was the only person I was seeing do that, and I was like, when I played Reggie, I was like terrified.
Yeah, everybody was
terrified. I'm like, well,
Reggie was 315 pounds out there on the edge, dude. Hey,
on the edge.
What the hell are we talking about?
When I faced Reggie White, now I shut him down, but I say all the time, at the end of the game, I felt like my lungs was collapsed. Right. I felt like my skeleton was. This is no lie. My agent drove me home in my car. I was in the back seat of my car, just laid out. I said, bro, I think my lungs are collapsed. Because when Reggie hit you, boom, boom, just pounded. And I always said, I don't know how guys who weren't 340 pounds could play.
Like Tunch.
I was 340. Like, how could you play him at 305? He's going to kill you.
He's going to run you over.
You know what I mean? And so with Eric was head-butting,
violent,
punching. Eric Williams was the most violent guy, bro, and I wanted to try to emulate that. I couldn't do it. Get my ass beat. I can't do that. I can't headbutt guys and uppercut guys. You know what I mean, dude?
George Foreman people.
Dude, Eric ran 42 draw with a fire technique on her, and he was set and literally headbutt guys, snatch them down, and him just run. Like he was destroying guys.
Bully.
I've seen guys on our team, bro. I've seen guys, stretching, doing extra stretching. And what Eric to do, he'd be before the game, before the series, he'd be on the sideline, jumping up and down.
Oh, just looking at him?
So you see it.
Well, yeah. Hey, it's intimidating when you see a guy like that and you're like, oh, he just acted, then he gets on the field and you go, oh.
Violent, bro. Like, I love me some Eric Williams, man. So to see you guys play football, you guys remind me of that era of football. And I always tell guys, you got to play with some level of physicality, because we have nothing else. These guys, like you said earlier today, these guys are probably the best freaking athletes on the team.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I made the analysis that if we put you and Myles Garrett in a race,
he's gonna smoke me.
He's gonna smoke you 1,000 times. But everybody's expecting you to win versus him one-on-one. Mm-hmm. So the expectation of a lineman athletically, man, is just unbelievable to me. So
yeah, it's but I will say the brotherhood is because it's almost like two different teams. You got the 7-on-7, the skill, then you got the big boys, the trenches, O-line, D-line, and it's really, when you go to training camp practices, it's really, tell kind of two different teams, and we all come together.
That's right.
There is no better brotherhood or like bond than with the guys.
Is it something you guys at Philly do every day, like technique-wise, you guys do every day? Like what things are those you guys do every day, technique-wise?
I mean, really run heavy emphasis. So, a lot of, A blocks, B blocks, C blocks, so backside stuff. We work on that. We work front side, inside zone. If a guy's coming underneath us, outside zone. So we work all the steps for there. And then, for pass blocking, we do a lot of sets on squares, 1 kick to 3 power, 3 kicks to 1 power, just the different variations of kick sets you're going to see. But I think our coach taught a lot. Whenever I was going through college, all the coaches told you to have your hands up. And then when I got in the league, you would see all the guys hands low because all these defensive ends are consistently working hand striking drills. And so
on dummies that are hands are like this.
So the worst thing you want to do is do that every day. But, what happens when you don't give them any hands? How do you combat that? So it's a switch up in technique, but I learned, and my coach learned because he was in college for all those years. He looked at all the greats, and everybody's hands in the pictures were low in their kick set. And
he came to Stoutland used to come to Paul a lot when he was in college.
Yep.
And Paul Alexander was one of the first guys teaching
low hand society.
The difference between drop hands and low hands.
Yeah.
And I tell guys all the time, you want your hands lower than the defender's eyes.
Yes.
Because I used to train in the gym with Chuck Smith, Chuck was the guru of pass rushing. And one of the things Chuck used to tell guys to do, his plan was to get off the ball and find the lineman's hands. And the linemen whose hands were already like this, it's easy to find. Mm-hmm. And Chuck's now the outside linebacker coach for the Ravens now. Mm-hmm. And he said, Willie, please quit teaching that shit. He said, because I want all these coaches to keep teaching two-hand punching and showing high hands. He said, because my guys are going to eat forever. They keep doing that. He said, but when they have their hands back, I tell guys, your outside hand should be back away from the defender. because, like you say, you're playing against some monsters who can go touch that camera over there sitting right here. So the closer your hands to him, the easier it is for him. If your hands are back, he got to come to you more now. Like I tell kids, it's like having I call it the cobra striking, the cobra striking syndrome. Like, you know, behind the cobra, you see the front part of the cobra, but behind him, he's still coiled up. With stuff, because if a cobra, have you ever seen a cobra fight a mongoose?
Yeah, mongoose.
A mongoose would kill a cobra. And because
that's what it is.
That's what it is, because the mongoose can retreat faster back and forth.
Strike.
So the cobra goes too far out, he's dead.
Same thing with our arms.
Same with your arms. He got to strike him. You got to strike him instead of leave it out there to get bit by the mongoose.
And the strike, I think, you know, people talk about punch people. It's like boxing, man. Are you throwing haymakers every time, or are you trying to find your range, slipping the jab? It's, you know, it's kind of different. And
or in boxing, are you boxing like this?
Yeah. Rock and sock robots.
You box independent hands.
Yes.
Because it balances your body out. You know what I mean? So and it's all about balancing. But it's funny that coaches still kind of teach. I see coaches still teach guys with bags right in front of the guy. Punch this bag. Then when a one-on-one comes, the guy's right here.
Yeah, we don't ever.
He's on an angle.
When you punch too narrow and your hands are right there, it's so easy to get swat. Usually, when you're punching, you're trying to grab that shoulder, bicep, outside arm, and usually, if you throw with one, you can at least recover. But
you can recover with.
But some guys are good with two. It's like
some guys are good with two. That's
some guys can get away with it.
And I say all the time is having something else in your toolbox. There's no one way to skin a cat. Guys get mad at me out there. Well, you saying two-hand punches don't work? I never said that. I even teach two-hand punching to high school kids. I think a high school kid should know how to just punch a guy, because high school kids get high school moves. They do a swim move, you tie his chest up. How many times in the pros you see a swim move? You rather see a swim move. Guys will do their chest. Guys are down low, coming at you with movement. So pros defend against movement. So I think having more hand tools in your toolbox is better for pros. Now, high school kids, punch them. They give you a high school move, punch them. But just pros need more things in their toolbox. And I just find it crazy that coaches will train guys right in front of you. Punch this bag in front of you. I'm playing right tackle, but my end is over here.
Yeah, he's
rushing right here.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, man? So, but yeah, man. So, I'm trying to think of more questions that I have for you that fans of yours. So, here we go. So we both made the quarter century all century team.
Hey.
No doubt. And what I was really happy about is that they finally divided it and not put a left tackle in our spot.
All pro back in the day, you should just be mainly left tackle, wasn't it?
Left tackle, like, so to make all pros back in our days was so freaking hard, bro. Like, it was so hard.
So nobody did except you.
It's crazy, bro. And that's why I get so happy to watch you and the kid, young boy Tristan Wirtz.
Tristan,
when he was playing right, get these all pro awards, because we have to re-educate voters, bro. Like, we have to re-educate voters and people who write this stuff, because they're so stuck on.
Well, it's been decades of that they have to unwire.
Yeah, like, and it's really because of the media of the 1980s. When Lawrence Taylor dominated that side, they moved everybody to that side, and the whole blind side thing. So I told, so the guy at PFF, I forget his name. I got it on my page. It's so bad.
Collingsworth?
No, it's not Collingsworth. Other guy. He was their main data guy. I got it on my page. I'm gonna show it to you.
Yeah.
He did a breakdown of PFF of in the 80s and 90s. The blind side was the left tackle, because they primarily threw the ball right. So the quarterback's heads can be turned this way. As the game evolved, they used the whole field. So the blind side could be here. Now I can't see lane. You're the blind side. So the blind side is whichever the quarterback's head.
It fluctuates from play to play.
Play to play. But the media never came out and said that, the left tackle. And when I say this stuff, it's not me being derogatory towards, I tell Andrew Whitworth, I'm not dogging left tackles out. I'm just saying, on our side, it's an equal match of guys that when I played for the Bengals, I played more rushers, dynamic rushers on my side than my boy Levi Jones did.
Yeah, and they used to just have a guy on one side the whole game. Now
everywhere.
They're trying to find the weakest link.
The game changed. The game changed in the 2000s. It changed because the quarterbacks became more important. I say all the time, when the Bengals gave Carson Palmer a $100 million contract in 2005, our perspective changed. Hey man, the running game is good, but he better not get killed back
there.
you know
you knew what it was. It was a turning of a page.
Yes.
Into the Mannings, the Brees, the Carson Palmers.
Yes.
Those guys. But that's how it is. The league comes in cycles, and it's like, I think you were talking about San Fran. They had a fullback in their system for years, and now it's like they're kind of the catalyst for all these teams starting to implement it because, like you said, man, it comes in waves from year to year.
Yeah, but talking about you too. So I read some recent that you're the first guy to play right tackle that made 6 Pro Bowls, 2 or 3 All Pros, playing 3 Super Bowls. That's crazy. And
it all happened the back half of my career. That's what I'm saying. That's
crazy. Crazy, yeah.
Because usually it happens in the front. But man, I said like in 2020 when I had my ankle surgery, that was probably, man, I had like some of my prime years, at least 2 years that I was really struggling.
Yes.
And when you have a surgery like that, man, it affects you and it takes you a while to regain kind of form and used to the level that you were at. But yeah, man, I think all the accolades and stuff, it was all laid out because of you and guys like Tristan Panay coming in. I had my help.
Panay Stewart,
yeah,
big time.
Mitchell Swartz is one of the
big
more
time.
underrated.
No doubt.
And I learned more from Mitch than probably from anybody.
Absolutely, bro.
Because his mentor was Joe, but he was just so cerebral and he could dominate people in so many different ways, and he was kind of unheralded too.
He got shorted on a bunch of All Pros.
Yes,
that's what pisses me off, man. It pisses me off that people think. That's why I said
Ryan Ramczyk.
Yes, back to the media thing. We have to educate them on, bro. The guys on this when Mitchell Swartz was playing. He was blocking Von Miller.
Hey, twice.
J.J. Watts.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all these guys, man. I'm like, how do you guys not see that you stuck on? Oh, he's a right tackle. That's why I tell guys all the time. I say, man, start just saying Lane Johnson, a great tackle.
Yeah.
Like quit saying he's a great right, because when they say right tackle, they're saying he's not really a left though.
Yeah, because that was the conversation for
so long.
Yep.
So long, and we need people in the media. That's why I'm hoping. We get more linemen in the media.
Yeah, like the Kels, Whitworth.
Yes,
they're doing the Protector of the Year award, thanks to Dion speaking up and saying something. But, yeah, I think, the frustrating thing for PFF is like, they throw all these grades up and then there's like no context behind it. And it's not like I think that they're doing like they have done a tremendous job for football because before them, nobody really had a clue or, just information on teams, different schematics.
But we need a lineman stat though, because like you mentioned Andrew Whitworth. Whitworth like followed me in Cincinnati, and he had the same career path. Like he would have some unbelievable years, and he wouldn't get no awards, man.
Yeah.
We had some unbelievable years, and we wouldn't get
when he was young.
Anything. Yeah. And then when he got older, it took him going to the Rams. And people started to
recognized.
See, like, bro, like he's been doing this for forever.
And his best years were in Cincy.
Yes.
And you could probably say that you had years that you didn't get any accolades that were similar or as good as probably
when I was 24, 25, 26 years old. I thought I played my best football that I ever played.
But it took those years to even get people to pay attention to
it. And even in retirement, bro, I never thought in retirement. I told Takeo Spices one day. I called Takeo. It's a couple years ago. I said, man, the Hall of Fame thing coming up this year again. I said, let's get our mind right. We're not going to be make the list because these people are not going to look at our careers. Takeo Spice, my teammate, played with me at Auburn, played with the Bengals.
I know Takeo Spice.
And Takeo is another guy too. Yeah, exactly. Had great stats, played on some teams that just unfortunately he didn't get the recognition. But I say the voters will have to really look into our careers and see it. That's why I appreciate you so much, man. Every time you get a chance, you mention my name, you mention Mitchell Swartz' name, guys like that, because you're still playing. You still have the limelight.
But I got to see it. I got to see it, and I have seen it through my career. So many players, you even look at like London Fletcher, another guy.
Great player.
Exactly,
great
but
player.
They go and look at accolades, and hey, accolades don't tell the damn whole story.
Player.
It's like a fighter, man. They all look at records. If he's not undefeated, he must not be. Hey, what are we talking about?
That's what made Lane Johnson a great guy, man. Because a lot of guys wouldn't do that, bro. I pray for 1,000 more years of success for you, man. You're doing it the right way. You're still in great shape, and this is year 13. So
hey, it's come on quick.
13 for me, I limped to year 13. I just saw you training today. you got 7 more years left in you, bro.
Man, I've been lucky, but I think people in your generation didn't have the social media. They your voice wasn't able to be put into a spotlight back in your prime, and so I think showing just what people were in their heyday, what type of players are, and even the Hall of Fame thing. It's like if you make it or don't make it, it don't change how people view you.
No doubt.
But you do want, and you will get it. You want that nod because it is special, man. Especially because you devoted your whole life since you've been 15 years old to this one sport.
No doubt.
Not just playing, but coaching guys. You spent your whole life devoted to football. So. Hey man, you got big fans, and you paved the way for me to where I got a chance to do what I'm doing. So
thank you, bro. Last thing, talk about the gym today, the soft opening of the gym today.
Yeah. So my partner and I, his name's Tom Wart. He played with me in college at Oklahoma. Originally from England, so he came to the States when he was 14. Wow. Went to Titans. Ended up having some injuries, but. Yeah, he bought this place around 4 years ago, started as a little warehouse, and we did a whole lot of dirt work. So we have a full-length field in the back. We got a 60-yard field in the front, and we have a locker room. We have all our supplements done by First Form, but we have a really good setup. I have everything for upper body, lower body, a turf area, cold tubs, hot tubs, sauna. And so I think just my vision as I'm getting older is to, coach some high school guys, some college guys, do it in the area to where there's not going to be a whole lot of distractions, and hopefully, I can elevate guys and kind of live through them, man. No doubt. There is always a passing of a torch and a turning of a page, and I think to play, homage to what you've done, and I think that's what I'm going to do when I get done is to watch these young guys take over and develop.
If you are a high school, college lineman, athlete period, take it back, athlete period. This place is unfreaking believable to be able to be a part of this and to see these guys here work with Lane, the outside field, the amenities they have in here, the equipment they have is top notch. You got the TV set up. This is a dope place, bro.
Yeah,
so congrats, man.
Yeah, so Rook's Performance, it's in Guthrie, Oklahoma, so a little bit north of Oklahoma City. So, yeah, I spend a lot of time here during the off season trying to get equipment ordered, getting it dialed in. So, we got a little bit of ways to go, but we're 90% there. So it's been fun.
Dope. My man, that's the Everything Big Willie Show. Lane Johnson, and we're out.